Hello everyone, welcome back to Pixel Peak. I hope you all had as much fun watching the crew play Among Us as they did playing it. If you haven't had the chance to see it, check it out on App TV's YouTube channel.
I didn't know that so much detective work and trickery went on in production, but let's get started with a brand new episode of Pixel Peak.
Starting off, ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Bethesda and other game studios, has been bought by Microsoft for $7.5 billion.
The next generation of consoles has had some problems with their pre-ordering. Both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series have faced issues.
Amazon is joining the cloud-based gaming action with their new service, Luna.
Gamestop is offering a trade-in system to reduce the prices of the new generation consoles.
Our game analyst, Elizabeth Dodson, will be checking out the newly released Medieval Dynasty.
We'll be diving into some news from the game developer Blizzard with our PC analyst, Walker Peters.
And all of that is in today's episode. I'm Sydney Thompson.
Shoofly.
What the? Is that Bianca?
Shoofly.
It sure sounded like her, but it seems like she's gone now.
Well, we'll be looking into that for next week. But until then, I'm Sydney Thompson.
And I'm Bryce Gates. And we hope you enjoy your stay here on Pixel Peak.
Microsoft has recently made the $7.5 billion decision to buy ZeniMax Media, a parent company of Bethesda Softworks, Bethesda Game Studios, ID Software, Arcane Studios, Machine Games, and many other game developers. The deal is expected to be carried out between New Year's Day and the end of June in 2021. Although Microsoft is just now buying Bethesda, the two companies have worked together often in the past. They have collaborated on titles such as Doom and The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind. Bethesda was also an early supporter of Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass. Future game releases from Bethesda will of course be available on the Xbox Game Pass, available on Xbox devices and Windows PC. Past that, third-party availability will be determined case by case. No need to worry though, current announcements from platform availability are unlikely to change, and there is a drive to give these games a healthy amount of exposure. As such, future games may take the example of Arcane Studios' Deathloop and Tango Gameworks' Ghostwire Tokyo, both published by Bethesda and both are timed exclusives for the PlayStation 5. With this purchase, future Elder Scrolls or Fallout games may be temporarily exclusive on Xbox and Windows PC.
Many are eager and excited to pre-order the upcoming PS5 and Xbox consoles. However, both companies have had their own issues. As the release date for Xbox Series draws closer, people have been working to pre-order the console. However, while Microsoft has promised an exact time for the pre-order, things haven't gone to plan. On the Gamestop website, customers have been waiting for long periods. Target, nothing would happen when customers click on the pre-order, and at Amazon, the link just wouldn't load in general. The worst part is that the official website for the Xbox Series X is also not available. Xbox Live director Larry Herb has stated that they knew demand would be high and that they are doing what they can, as well as thanking customers for their patience. Now on to PlayStation 5 pre-orders. The date for the console's release has yet to be announced. However, they did have a date set for pre-orders. Unfortunately, retailers got excited and started pre-orders a day early, and chaos ensued. Sites crashed and people panicked as they rushed to pre-order a PS5. Sony has gone ahead and released an apology stating that they have more pre-orders soon to come by the end of the year. Those dates are yet to be released, but we'll just have to wait and see.
With a rise of popularity in cloud gaming, Amazon has decided to enter the field with its very own cloud gaming service, Luna. Cloud gaming allows individuals to play games without having a game downloaded or running on their device. Instead, the game is run on a server, which is then streamed right to your screen. Amazon's early access for Luna is available for Fire TV, Mac, Windows, as well as on mobile with iOS and Android. Although the iOS version will be accessed through web apps to avoid Apple's regulations in regards to cloud-based gaming. The idea of Luna will be to offer various different game channels, which can be publisher company specific or otherwise a large grouping of games. The first game channel is Luna Plus, which allows gamers to play games such as Resident Evil 7, Panzer Dragoon, A Plague Tale: Innocence, The Surge 2, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. This bundle will also include more titles in the future and start at $5.99 a month during the early access period. While the streaming aspect might make gamers presume lower running quality, Amazon assures that 4K resolution and 60 frames per second will be available for select titles. Ubisoft's Game Channel has also been announced, which plans to include Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry 6, and Immortals Phoenix Rising upon release. Luna can be controlled through mouse and keyboard, the Xbox One controller, the DualShock 4 controller, as well as the Luna controller. Their controller will start at $49.99 and be a more reliable alternative, as the controller itself will connect to the cloud directly instead of connecting to your device via Bluetooth.
With the upcoming launch of the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S consoles, GameStop has come out with a trade-in price offers for the gaming consoles. GameStop has announced the trade-in promotion via an email outlining the Xbox Series X. The current trade-in prices they have announced are the following: $200 for the Xbox X and PS4 Pro, $175 for the Nintendo Switch and PS4 1TB model, $125 for the Nintendo Switch Lite and the Xbox One S, along with the PS4 500GB model, and $100 for the Xbox One 500GB model. GameStop has also stated that they will be giving bonus credit to be put towards for pre-orders of the Xbox X or S if you trade in an older console, stating that you can earn up to $200 for credit for the pre-order. If you wish to pre-order, you can also put in a deposit of at least $50 and then come back later for a trade-in. With this offer, gamers can be able to put in the Series X for $300 or the Series S for $100. It is unknown how long this promotion will go on for, but it will become clear as the promotion goes live. Because the PS5 release date is still yet to be announced, and once that is, GameStop will likely offer a similar trade-in promotion as with the Xbox. GameStop is also going to be offering multiple installment plans for the Xbox Series X and PS5, separate from the Xbox All Access payment plan.
I used to have a simple life. Whatever needed doing round the farm, I'd do it. Being the eldest son, it's tough. But at least we had a living, and our plates were never empty. Then, the war came. I lost everything overnight. The last thing I remember is Father pushing me away, yelling for me to run, to live. At first, I didn't know what to do. Then, I remembered. A story my mother once told me. A story about my uncle, Jordan. He made a modest fortune up north, in a peaceful valley far away from the war. For weeks, I held on to that thought, until the valley from my mother's stories. I could see it. This is where I can start a new life.
If you are a type of person that is into survival or realistic looking games, then this is the game for you. It is a very realistic looking survival game created by Topliz Productions and RenderCube, and was put out to the masses on September 17th of this year. Sadly, for the moment, this is solely a PC game, although depending on how popular the game is, it might eventually be introduced to console. You play as an 18-year-old peasant boy during the medieval time period, who, after his entire family is killed due to a war, tries to establish himself in the same valley that his uncle had become rich in. However, once you get to the village, it turns out that he had passed away due to an ambush. This means you start over from the ground up to build your home, family, and fortune. The plot of the game seems simple, but it does give you the extra oomph to keep playing, and in reality, it is given to the player better than other plots in games in the same genre. The game itself is extremely realistic, which puts it on par with games like The Forest, which is a similar but different survival type game. I was pretty intrigued once I got to actually control my character because it throws you into the game as you are just reaching the valley where your uncle's town is located. Like most survival games, you can collect most everything until the game tells you that you are over encumbered and need to drop something. For it being a survival game, I kinda wish it was multiplayer because it would make gathering materials go by faster, and there's not many survival games with this type of game style and design out there to my knowledge. Once you actually get into the crafting and such, things can get a little slow at times, and it has a tutorial, but I ended up just randomly figuring things out, and then a pop-up screen would appear with more instructions and information. The world itself is huge, and you can spend the majority of your time running around getting lost, but thankfully there is a compass bar at the top of the screen that tells you where you can go for quests, locations, etc. After I spent like half an hour trying to figure out the controls and how to actually craft things, it got to be pretty simple, but finding the resources and money to buy and or build things is another story. The wood and sticks are pretty easy to find, but the rocks, on the other hand, not so much. I would find myself trying to collect logs to build my house, wash bin, or fulfilling a villager's request, and have my axe break, and then have to spend 30 minutes to an hour trying to find rocks to craft another one. Going back to crafting real quick, it's almost like this game mixes both Rust and The Forest, which both are survival games if you didn't know that already, into one. Not saying that the crafting is bad or anything, but in reality it isn't anything fancy. And this statement can go for other things like inventory finding and movement as well, which I did notice that if you move around quickly and then suddenly stop, it can be a little wobbly, and you can actually get motion sick if you're not careful. As you gain experience in the game, you can allot points to skills that will help you not only grow your own town or eventual dynasty, but help you survive and gather things as well. At first, you seem to level up pretty quickly, but I soon found that it's more difficult to level up and had to use Google to find out where I was going wrong and to look up how to do things. As you are playing the game, you get to listen to a relaxing soundtrack, which ranges from realistic From the Times music to where you can tell that it's just copy of wolf noises to actual sounds of nature. As the times, seasons, and area around you changes, so does the music. It has little flurries of music for when the time changes, or season changes, to when you complete a task and even when you jump or get injured. I would find myself going through the game trying to collect resources or completing quests, and being able to fully immerse myself in the game just by listening to the music and playing the game at the same time. Overall, I would give the game a rating of great because this one was one that I just kept wanting to play just to see how strong I could build my dynasty within the game.
For this week's analysis, we turn to Walker Peters, our PC specialist, to talk to us about PC game developer Blizzard. How are you doing today, Walker?
I'm doing great.
So, with the announcement of BlizzConline, what do you think of this as a replacement for the annual BlizzCon?
I think it's one of the best things they could do in theory, much better than a Nintendo Direct style presentation or just releasing trailers and statements by the development team and Blizzard. It remains to be seen if it will run as smoothly as I'm hoping, but I do think conceptually it's a great idea right around now.
So, are online conventions being held due to COVID-19 actually a good replacement for gaming conventions as a whole?
Well, like I said, the whole convention part could get lost really easily in the transition to online. I do think Blizzard is making a great effort to try and keep the convention aspect instead of, like I said, just turning it into a presentation style event with their events that they're running that people can send in for. So I am optimistic that it will retain a good amount of the social aspect of the convention.
Yeah, they don't just want it to become like a PowerPoint presentation of things.
Absolutely not.
So, what is there to do at BlizzCon, and is it worth it to attend?
So, because it's not in person and it's all online, we're losing out on the live things going on, like a live cosplay contest, but people can still send in pictures of themselves cosplaying or their Blizzard-themed artwork or short films even. There is a short film contest, a Blizzard-themed talent show, and the virtual Murloc March. There's always been a traditional Murloc March going on at Blizzard where people dress up as Murlocs and march around the convention. The only difference is this year you'll have to march alone and send in the video.
But BlizzCon line said due to the digital format of the convention this year, the cosplay contest will allow pets. So, what animal do you want to see dressed as what Blizzard character?
I mean, we'll see a lot of dogs and cats, obviously, but I'm excited to see some people with less orthodox pets send in what they have. For example, I'd love to see a pig dressed as Roadhog or Junkrat. I think that would be great. A duck or a swan dressed as Mercy from Overwatch. And of course, with any larger pets, like large dogs, you could do druid cosplay, just druids in their animal form, like in Warcraft.
Just like a ferret, a guinea pig. Interesting. So what do you think of the new up-and-coming game development company Dreamhaven, made up of ex-Blizzard employees?
I'm very excited to see it. It's not a secret that Blizzard has had a rough past couple of years, both in their public image and in their development. And I'm excited to see some of the people who brought the magic that old Blizzard had that have left, move it somewhere else and try new things with it.
So, with the former CEO of Blizzard, Mike Morhaime, starting a new company after being with Blizzard for over 27 years, what can we expect to see from him in the future?
Well, details about Dreamhaven are still vague, but Mike Morhaime and the other people who have moved to Dreamhaven with him are responsible for a lot of the classic Blizzard games like StarCraft, Warcraft 2 and 3, early World of Warcraft. So I'm hoping we can sort of see some of the same magic that those had, the same like care and respect for the player that those had carried into this.
So with Dreamhaven saying that they want to take the chances that most big publishers won't, and many smaller studios aren't always able to, what are you excited to see come out of this company?
So I believe a general trend in the industry that I've noticed is a lack of mid and small range studios. Everything's either AAA or indie. I'm kind of hoping Dreamhaven can fill that little space and have medium-sized or small studios making projects that they're not indie projects. They have a number of people behind them, but not giant budgets and marketing teams. Giant passion projects, basically. One thing I'm really hoping to see is some great new RTS games. Of course, classic Blizzard was one of the kings of RTS, real-time strategy games. And not only have Blizzard not made any, but it's just not really a live genre right now. It's fallen out of popularity, even though I and many other people I know still enjoy the genre. So I'm hoping we can see them take risks like that, like developing for genres not as many people like, but that have very dedicated bases.
Yeah, perhaps if there's demand for it, that could be a very real possibility. So thank you for speaking with us, Walker, and hopefully we'll be able to speak with you again soon.
That wraps up this episode of Pixel Peak. Thank you all for tuning in.
And this episode is already over. Guess I'll have to wait for next episode next week.
Of course, new Pixel Peak episodes come out every Monday afternoon at noon. You can find them on watchapptv.com, Sky Best channels 20 and 1020, Spectrum channel 198, and on AtFace Campus Television channel 23.3.
Be sure to keep up to date by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Pixel Peak App TV.
And of course, we have our incredible crew to thank for another great episode. Thanks to writers Rebecca Larson and Josh Beal, PC analyst Walker Peters, Game reviewer Elizabeth Dodson, and producers Nick Corbin, Elise Taylor, Haley Cipher, and Jacob Barber for another week of impeccable gaming industry content.
Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you enjoyed your stay here on Pixel Peak.